Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're working with Hero Arts and we have got the Let's Stick Together stamp and die set, and it's got all these little gummy candies, and we have got the Candy Kabob cutting dies, we've got the Big Hugs cutting dies and the stamp set, and we've got the Big Hugs die set with the Bear Hugs die set. And so I decided to do a little mixed media and just create kind of a watercolor mixed media panel that we can use for a couple of cards. We're not going to work with all of the product that I showed you just because there was a lot. And so I'm choosing to work with the Candy Kabob cutting dies and then the little Bear Hugs cutting dies, the little ones, and we're going to be working with those. So I'm just laying down some color here. I've got spun sugar, shabby shutters, spiced marmalade, and I think that's everything. And just inking up some very quickly. I sped this way up, and I'm bringing in my coordinating dies, spun sugar, shabby shutters, and a blue, I can't remember what that one's called, and just creating this panel so that we can use this for the base of our cards today. So I'm going to bring in one of my favorite dies. It's the Bell and Bow Scallop die set, and they've got stitched dies and other rectangle dies that you can coordinate, and I'm just going to cut these all up and come up with some panels. So I've got several combinations here, and we're just going to get started working on them. You can see I have die cut out several of the Candy Kabob gummies, way more than what we're going to need. I wanted the different colors. I'm also bringing in a 3D embossed folder. I'll link it in the description box below. I can't exactly think of what that one's called at the moment, but we'll link that one up, and we're just going to we're going to create our card bases here, so that we'll have some card panels ready. I didn't have any ready, and so we're just going to get them ready. And I'm just using my big Spellbinders multi-purpose scoring board and just scoring up several A2 size card bases and getting those ready for our cards. So I'm going to clear everything out of the way. I did a wardrobe change. I was in my pajamas when I was doing all the die cutting, and I'm bringing in the little tiny bears from the Bear Hugs set, and we're going to use those. And we are going to use the kind of kebab thing from the Candy Kabob, the stick, and the Have a Sweet Day, Hi Sweet Friend sentiments, and we're going to use those on both cards. And I'm just showing you the different sizes of the little bears. And there is a great big bear, too, that will hold a heart. And these little bears, this one has like little cuts for highlights. And then the other ones, their little arms open up so that they can hold the tiny little hearts that are included with the set. And so they also layer up. I'm going to do some white on the ones that have the highlights. And then, actually, I think I do white on all. And then we'll bring in some a marker just to color the eye area so that I have it colored in. And we're just going to get these assembled and get them laid down on our card. And I'm using a pink, an orange, and a yellow, and just kind of creating some different little bears. Now these bears are stackable. There is one die that's kind of a half of a body of the die set. I think I'll show it to you in a minute. And you can actually kind of put them, kind of stack them like they're almost like a little totem pole. You could kind of do it with them. But anyway, so we'll just get these glued up and get to laying them down on our card. Okay, so I've got all my little bears assembled and I've got them laid down on there. I have not put the hearts in their little hands yet. I'm just going to do it on a couple of them, and we'll just get some glue laid down on the little heart. I've got a little yellow heart here that I'm going to put in the little pink guy's arms, and I'm just going to, it's easier if you do it before you put it on the card, but I've just raised the little hands up, and I'm taking my tweezers and going to shove it down in there, and there we go. And then next we're going to bring in our little stackable one. And I'm going to position him behind the orange one that I have with the foam tape. I'll just lift the foam tape up and just position that one in there. I'm going to bring in a marker and color in the eyes again, just so that we'll have that. And I think that looks cute, kind of tucked in behind there. And we've got four of the kind of the medium-sized one, and then one of the smaller ones. I say medium because there is a great big bear that goes with this set. I'm going to bring in a little butterfly, and we're going to get it laid down on our distressed 3D panel there. And we've got a lot of white showing. Now I feel like something's missing and we've got a big gap in there. So I do go ahead and I take just a banner die and create a banner. And I'm bringing in the stamp set that is called Let's Stick Together. And I'm going to use the I'm very glad we're friends, and I think it goes along well with this. And so we're just going to have another sub-sentiment on there, and I think it does kind of fill it in. Not too sure what I thought about this card. Yesterday I didn't like it as much. Today I liked it a little bit more, but anyway. So we're going to get this laid down on there. And I'm just going to put some glue on the back of it and just kind of lay it across the middle and kind of fill in that little gap there. And we'll get it laid down on there. We are going to make a second card on this video. And I'm going to be doing another video with the candy jar and the big bear so that you can see those as well. But it's a super cute, fun stamp set and die set. If you've got some kiddos that like the gummy bears or you like them yourself, very fun. So here we go. Here is our first card. And we've got our die set. Now I'm going to use a smaller second panel. And I actually have a larger one too left that I can use. And we're just going to layer it up on some, I think this is fern cardstock from Spellbinders. I'm going to put a white layer behind there. And both of these panels have the stitch detail. And then we're going to layer it up on another one of the rectangled from the die set. And just kind of have green, white, and then our distressed panel. Now this is where I'm going to actually make it a kabob. I thought it was interesting that the die set is called Candy Kabob. And I thought, I suppose, you know, they have a lot of themed parties for kids nowadays, and I suppose they could have a gummy themed party in which they would have some gummy kebabs. And so I thought, well, let's just roll with it and make it a kabob. So this is going to be our skewer. And these are going to be our flags again, doing the same thing that we did on the other cards. Just kind of flipping the sentiments. We're going to have orange on top and yellow. And then we've got our kabob. And I'm just going to put the little butterfly that is part of the Candy Kabob set as kind of the top to my kabob. I have kebabs at my house that have some decorative tops on them. And so I thought, well, we'll make the butterfly the decorative top. And then we're going to lay our banners on there. I'm going to bring in some foam tape and put some foam tape on here and pop them up so that they'll be more sturdy. So we'll get them both popped up and get them laid down on here. Now over the weekend we actually kept the boys for my daughter and her husband because it was they were having a birthday party for him with a bunch of friends. And the 5-year-old wound up getting sick. And so they were on their way home. We had to tell them that they needed to come and get him because he got really sick. And so the sickness just keeps on coming around our house. I am hoping that we don't get the stomach ache that he had. But we did go ahead and keep the youngest one because he was asleep and he was doing well. And so I got him ready and took him to church with us today. And he did quite well. And so, but the 5-year-old is feeling better, so I'm glad for that. But he was really sick, and he was kind of scared. I don't know if he's been sick to his stomach before, and he got kind of shook up. So I was able to get him settled down before they got here, but they got him and got him home and got him taken care of. So anyway, so we have just been having our share of, I guess I should say I have. Pat, fortunately, he's got a little bit of a cough now, but he's fared pretty well. But anyway, so it was kind of an interesting weekend. I didn't wind up serving dinner because I had the kids and didn't prepare Sunday dinner like I normally do, but we wound up going out. We went to the Oriental Pearl and had some Chinese food for lunch, and that was nice. So I had a little break, and then I came home, took a little nap, and I thought, I'm going to finish these cards up. So we're going to get this panel laid down on here, and I'm liking the white. We've got a lot going on with all these bits and pieces, so I tried to tone it down a little bit with some white elements on both of these cards. I will link all of the materials in the description box below, so if you want to check them out. They released on the 15th, kind of later in the day, later than what I was expecting, because I did run an earlier video with the Got Flair product. But you should be able to find them in the Spellbinder shop or the Hero Arts shop. And I'm just going to angle this on here. I rarely do that, and I thought it was fun. So we've got all of our little gummy things on there, and we've got our little bears, and I think they're super cute. So I appreciate you watching. If you like them, consider hitting the like button. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.